Hi everyone, welcome back for another QBO Tips. Last week we walked through the upcoming changes to the navigation bar for those of you who use the business view in QuickBooks Online. This week I'm back with a transactional tip. Many of you may be well acquainted with the process of customer refunds in QBO, but have you ever run into a situation where a customer double pays or overpays what they owe? Though infrequent, it actually happens a lot more than you would think. In this case, a normal refund won't work because there's no sales transaction to reverse out. So, what do we do here? Well, let's jump into the demo company and find out. Okay, we're back in good old Craig's Design and Landscape. And after last week's update, I feel compelled to tell you that I am using the accountant view. I almost always am, by the way. So, if we go to the Customer Center and find Amy's Bird Sanctuary, we go into Amy and we look at her transaction list and her balances. We can see that she has a negative open balance here. And if I filter her transactions list to just open invoices, I can see that I have no open invoices. So if I go back to my view there, I can see at the top here, I do have a payment and it is unapplied. So in this case, Amy may want her money back and we need to issue her a refund. Now, we can't do the normal refund receipt, so we're going to have to cut her a check or pay her however we're set up to pay her. The bottom line is we need to create some sort of payment to Amy for $220. So how do we do that correctly? And it's actually quite simple. All we do is we create an expense in QBO and we use accounts receivable. So I can do new expense Amy's, however I'm going to pay her back, but it's going to be accounts receivable here, and it's going to be $220. And this is essentially creating the other side of that AR transaction. So I save and close here. And hey, our open balance is down to 0. Yay! Wait, not so fast. You can still see that the payment here is in unapplied status. So what we need to do is apply this to the expense, the check that I just made. So if you open up that doubled payment, you can see that it pulls in that check. So now I can click it, and my amount to credit at the bottom here you see goes to 0. So when I save this, this is going to save my overpayment to the refund check to close those two out against each other. And now everything's closed and we have no open balance. See, so it's not so bad. And there's nothing to miss in our books now. Everything is cleared and where it should be. The caveat here is that this was an overpayment in Amy's transaction list. And that can happen, but if you're doing an overpayment, QuickBooks warns you and tells you that it's going to be a credit, so you would know right away. And that's great. But if that's not the case, it could be hiding somewhere in a revenue account or another odd account somewhere. So let's go to Bill's Windsurf Shop. So Bill's looks fine to us. Bill's has no open balance, nothing overdue, and everything looks closed. But, and now I know where everything is in this one, so if I do filter and I do all plus deposits, I can see that there is a deposit transaction for Bill, and it's for $85. And this could be my duplicated payment because they paid us once, and when it came in the second time, it went right to an income account. This is kind of the most common way it gets in. It doesn't always get tagged to the customer though, so maybe some digging. If you got to find it and you got to code it to accounts receivable. Now I'm in pretty much exactly the situation I was with Amy's. I have a negative balance. I have something that's open, which is this deposit. And I go through the same steps where I create a new expense for Bill. Bill's Win Surf Shop. And I do accounts receivable to create the other side of that transaction for $85. Again, my open balance goes to 0. That's great. That's what we want, but we still see something with an open status here. Now, we don't have an actual payment. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create a payment through any of the ways you want to create the payment. And it's going to automatically be smart and apply the check or the expense that we have against the deposit that we have and make a $0 payment, which is what we want. It's basically applying the two erroneous transactions against each other. And now when we save and close, just like Amy's, we're all set in where we need to go. And we're all done. All right, refunding a double paid invoice or a customer overpayment is kind of a quirky situation, but it's not really all that hard to deal with. There's a few hoops to jump through, yeah, but it's by far not the worst process. If you have comments or questions about this, please post below. I hope this has helped you guys out. Thanks so much for watching.